So February 1st, 2023, 7:41 a.m., I got the worst call that any father could ever receive, any parent could ever receive in their life. I got a call that my son had been killed. He had passed away. And got to be a prank. Got to be a prank. Got to be, I won't go into the details of who that person was who called me, who was very connected to the entire thing. I won't mention her name, but like, number one, you don't call me, so what's up? And the whole scenario of you telling me that my son is dead and why he's dead doesn't make sense, because I was, especially as he walked into his young adulthood, I kept it very transparent with him about the mistakes that I made. He and his mom and I, no condemnation, but we were young, and son, I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made. And to see him grow, to get the calls from the teachers about, hey, Mr. Miller, Jalen got this award. We want to surprise him. We want you to come up here for the awards program. I was honored because he wasn't perfect, but he was good. He was good. I was so very proud of him. Everything I learned on the streets, everything that I saw, I observed, whether I went through it myself or I learned by observation, I shared with him. And so I was so very blessed that his friends looked at him. Man, yo, you can't do that, man. My dad told me what's going to happen if you do that, man. I saw him go through some things because he was with me. I had him when I was 20. And so we grew up together. And it was a very, very delicate time because when he was born, I was battling cancer. So they told me I couldn't even have kids. So to have a child, my firstborn son, in a place to where they said I couldn't even have kids, I'm like, you know what? I may not be able to have any more after him. And this is unreal. I got a son. And I got to live. So he was my reason. God gave me a reason through him to fight through over 98 blood transfusion, over 87 platelet transfusion, chemotherapy, radiation, 5 spinal taps, all kind of treatments, and to beat cancer because of him. To even take it even further, I got into education because of him. And it was a dream to see him flourish. I can distinctly remember getting a phone call. He went to Princeton Elementary here in Birmingham, and he got a phone call. I got a phone call. I had to leave my school to go over to his school because he's in trouble. And it's like, man, Jalen was just disrespectful to the teacher. And I'm like, what? So I'm that dad, like you. I'm pulling up. I'm going to pull up. And I pulled up. And you know how I dressed when I was at my house.
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't do clip-ons. We tie our neckties 3 different ways. We doing bow ties. And Jalen in the 4th grade called his teacher out because he had on a fake bow tie. And so, but I didn't know it at first. So when I get there, it was the whole, Jalen's, he's in tears because he's scared. He knows that you probably coming up here. He was like, don't call my dad, call my mom or call my stepdad. Don't call my dad. Yeah. And so, but when I got there, they had him, and I said, let me know, tell me what he did first. Well, the teacher said he was real disrespectful, wrote him up, and he just put him out of class. And Jalen was just like, but I didn't do nothing. I was telling the truth. And his main part why they pulled him out of class because he raised his voice because he was being accused of being disrespectful, and Jalen didn't know that he was being disrespectful.
Right.
Because he was like, I can show you how to tie a real bow tie. And the teacher like, what? He's like, that's not real. I can show you how to tie.
Hey, but look, but you know him though.
I know.
So it was a little bit of like that was a little smart assness going on.
It was a little,
like even though he might have been,
Yeah. But he meant it like decently, because he used to see me with the bros, you know what I'm saying? My boys, like, I always teaching them how to tie ties. And so he meant well, but at the same time, I had to tell him, I said, son, remember one thing, you're a child.
Yeah.
I said, so, if anything, you should have told me. We could have got him a real bow tie and you could have just put it on his desk and left it alone.
Yeah.
So he could have learned on his own. I said, but, I said, you gonna call your teacher out in front of the whole class, son. I said, that was wrong. I said, that was disrespect. He was like, yes, sir, but I was just trying to help because he be dressing nice sometimes, Dad. Sometimes he don't. I said, son, don't tell me. And then when I saw the teacher walking in there, Jalen sitting beside me, and I said, son, you was wrong. I said, but you was right though. That bow tie is not what's up.
Had to get it right.
I said, but you're a child, and so, but man, I saw him grow up, and I saw him achieve Mr. Baseball, what I called him, scholarship to Alabama A&M, graduated top of his class from Holy Family Crystal Ray Catholic High School, and literally, like I was so honored and blessed that, and I stayed on him. He got his butt whooped when he messed up, but I didn't get that call. I didn't get those calls, and I took time because I loved on him and I mentored him and I mentored his friends, and so I was so honored and blessed to see him strive, to see him achieve. Like literally, like there's no such thing as a perfect child, but my son did great. He did great. He was maneuvering through 2 different environments, and everything that I told him, he took it. And it's like he planted it, watered it, and like, hey, Dad, look, here it is. And I was just so very proud of him. But that call, it changed my life. Number one, the content did not match the emotion that was coming through the phone. This was a person who was supposed to be, for better words, heavily connected, and the only way, in a godly way. And so this is supposed to be to help me, and so.
But they wasn't connected to the law.
No, they were married. They were married.
No, the law, like the police. They wasn't connected to.
No, it wasn't there. It was his spouse. They gave me the call, and number one, I had just dropped my 2 younger sons off at school. I'm finna go over to the house, change clothes, get ready for work, and I took it's crazy because I usually took, it's like 3 different routes, but this road that I was traveling on, it's like a little more quieter, about the same distance to get to the house, but I just took a shortcut that day to get back to the house, and I'm glad I did because the other routes, the roads were too busy, and I would not have been able to pull over and just take in what I took in on that call. And so the nature of the call, man, the content, it was horrible. Hey, I just called to let you know, and this is how it was: no tears, no emotion, no desperation. I just called to let you know Jalen's dead, and I'm like, what? Yeah, he killed himself. I'm like, say what? Yeah, he took his own life because this, that, and the other. And nothing about that call, nothing made sense. And everything else I couldn't hear past you calmly telling me at 7:41 a.m. that my son is dead. That's all. And so I literally threw my car over, and I don't even remember opening the car door, but I just screamed. and I was on the street. Thank God again, God knew me taking this other route to the house. Traffic always on the other two routes always busy, but I was literally on my knees on the street, just pounding the ground, screaming. And so I'm like, I got to get to the house. And I remember pulling up, and my wife hearing me because I just laid on the steering wheel and I was on the horn. It's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I told her, and she screamed. And so she just held me right there inside of our front door. And, by that time they had sent the address, and we put some clothes on and shot on over there.
But in that moment that the spouse had ended up.
Wait, I'm sorry.
And no, you good. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. In that moment that the spouse was so calm and telling you that, what curiosity did that spike in your mind?
And I'm trying not to go into it didn't add up. The thoughts run through my mind. Okay, God, why? And like most some Christians, some of us who follow the Word of God, January being the beginning of the year, we were on a heavy fast, and I like literally we literally 3 days prior had just finished our a 21-day fast, and I'm tripping because it was at either 21 or 30, I'm not even sure, but we had just finished the fast. And God, this ain't real. This ain't real. I had no, I did the work. I've mentored. I've taught in schools. I prayed over so many young men. Left teaching, went into law enforcement, kept young men in every avenue of my life, all of my jobs. I always mentored and kept young men, taught young men, loved on them in the most purest, decent way. I saw my son keep other young men out of trouble, pull them out the way from getting killed, and my son is dead. And help me understand it, God.
How can you still believe in God after something so tragic?
I asked myself the same thing. Just in that day.
No, before you go on, do you believe in God?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Like, because if it wasn't for him holding me, my wife, my younger two sons, my entire family, because a lot of times we take it as if we're the only one grieving, and we're not, man. Because when I say it, so much came out with his death. A lot of stuff hit the fan. So it was still believe in God.
But a punishment, and this is do you feel like it was a punishment to you?
At first I did, because I asked those questions. What did I do? Like, or what did not do? What should I have done? God, what did I miss? Like, why me? Why, Like, what did I do so bad to have to experience grief on this level? Because no parent should have to bury their child. No parent should have to bury their child. It's supposed to be, you know, us, pushing through to one day funeralize, eulogize, lay our parents to rest. Not your child. Not a good son. And I'm not saying there anybody else's child was bad, but real talk, not straight A's for a scholarship, like not him. Don't make sense. So God, you got to help me understand it. And I cried out to God. I cried out to God. I cried out to God. I cried out to God because I was in a very destructive mindset. Because I'm a whole pastor. I'm an educator. I'm a pastor. I'm in the schools. I'm talking to these kids every day. Make the right decisions, man. And I always would use my son as an example. Yo, I got to bring my son up here for you to meet a man. Awesome young man. Literally. I'm talking about just not perfect, but studious. Awesome young man.
Mm-hmm.
So God, you got to help me. And I remember crying out after days and months. And I heard like an audible voice of God, like we talking. Because like I couldn't even, I didn't get any sleep. It was max maybe 1 hour sleep up until November. Like I would wake up. I literally paced the floor, paced the block in our neighborhood. My wife would be worried. Like I'll let her know where I'm going, but I just have to go to parks and just scream and cry it out. Because I didn't want to bleed too much on my wife and my sons. Cause they were grieving too, of course. But for me, before I met my queen, before God gave me my two younger prince, it was just me and him. It was me and him. It was just David and Jalen. You couldn't know me without knowing that I was a proud father. And my son changed my life. God used my son to push me through that cancer. And now he gone. But
if I, just for perspective, I'm you and you God, and I want you to answer this question, God. Why did you murder my son?
I didn't murder him. It may have looked like it, but I didn't. And you have to remember that the most audible words I heard God say that I'm going to tell you, you're me, I'm God. God, they killed my son. And I look at you and say they killed mine first. If I'm God, I'm telling you, David, my son was perfect.
But God, you had the power to do something that I can't do.
I held him there, and the job that I needed him to do in your life, it's done. It's done.
Why is this job not clear to me?
Because you're grieving right now. You're in a lot of pain right now. It's a lot of stuff that's going to come out in the next couple of days, David, that's going to blow your mind. But I need you to hear me. I made you strong. And I never told you that your son would be with you always. The only person that's promised to be with you always is me. I got him.
But I feel like I ain't even got you right now.
I'm here. You just got to try to hear me through this grief, this pain. I'm glad your wife hid your gun. And I know it's unclear, but I'm here.
What do I do about the people that I felt like was involved?
Let me handle him. Let me handle them. You got to remember this, David. Whew. If you go and do what you're capable of doing, your wife and your other two sons are still going to see. They're going to suffer. You got to think about the collateral damage. I gave you free will. Can you go and do what you want to do? Yeah. But what is it going to do besides create more grief, more stress for you and your family? What is it going to do? So let me get my arm, my reach. My reach is so much bigger than yours. I promise. I got you, but I got them too. Trust me.